Hello, welcome to Save US Taxes Legally. I want to start off with three simple questions. Put yes or no into the chat. Number one, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? Number two, do you want uh, all your lawsuits to go away? Put yes or no in the chat. Number three, do you want to save taxes year after year, generation after generations? Again, put yes or no in the chat. Welcome. I believe every US investor, US business owner, US entrepreneur, US 1099 income earner needs to know this information. It's not taught in school. I believe that since I learned the secret of the rich, it is my duty and my honor to teach this to other people. I believe the playing field must be leveled for all businesses. The Amazons of the world get free land on Staten Island, and businesses have to close down because rents get too high. Now, um, think of this: if you could be saving so much in taxes. If you're making 100,000 grand, you could save 5 figures in taxes. You could, you can also all lawsuits go away, and then everything else would be fine. I found out about the trust because I became a real estate investor in 2018 when my mother got sick. In 2019, with my mentor, Jay Tannenbaum, I wholesaled 7 bank-owned properties nationwide and paid off all my debt. And I had $50,000 in my bank account for short-term capital gains. I thought I was good. COVID struck around St. Patrick's Day. My mom's from Ireland, so we always celebrate that. And on April 4th of 2020, my CPA calls me to say, congratulations, Sally. You made so much money in 2019. Your tax bracket went from 22% to 24%. Congratulations. How much do I owe? Just $94,000. He put me on a payment plan to start saving taxes. In my real estate group, a gentleman named Garrett Gunderson had written a book called What the Rockefellers Do. I used that book to research the Spendthrift Trust. It is legal. It's in the IRS Tax Code 643B. It's been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions and won both times. Now, a little bit of history. It comes from England way back when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England. Murder a few ladies, start a church. He went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back to history to the Magna Carta in the 13th century and said, oh, no, 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 King Henry VIII, you can't do this. This is contract law that came to the colonies while we were still part of England. The law firm I work on behalf of inherited a trust that turned 350 years old in 2023, before we were a country. Our current tax structure went into effect February 1913 and was only supposed to be around for a few years. The super rich families of 1913, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, made sure they could save taxes. Well, they can save taxes, we can save taxes. Unfortunately, we got involved in World War I, and the tax structure has been there ever since. It's only grown and grown and grown and grown. Now, the law firm I work on behalf of was started 77 years ago by a Harvard law professor named Paul Benson. He purposely wrote 5 specific trusts to save specific taxes. Today, we're going to talk about 2 of them. The business trust to save 1099 income, and the beneficial trust for investors to no longer pay any taxes on profits. In 77 years, not a single trust has ever been audited. These are some numbers I can stand upon. Paul Benson knew exactly what he was doing and how to write these trusts. It's in Tax Code 643B, it's in Tax Code 2, and other things. In 2018, when a senior IRS agent examined a trust, he approved it, and he sent an unsolicited letter back to the law firm. If we call it the Myers letter, if you want a copy of that, just reach out to me. My email is www thetrustisyou.com. No, I'm sorry. My email is info@thetrustisyou.com. Going crazy. Now, I want to share my screen and start getting into this with y'all. The website, www.thetrustisyou.com. You're going to save U.S. taxes legally. You're going to leave a legacy for future generations. I can't stop you from being sued, but all lawsuits become frivolous. And because of the trust, all your information is kept completely private. Now, one of the things people get concerned about, this trust will not hold any LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. That's state law or statutory law. What I did when I lived in Arizona is different than what I do here in North Carolina. We ask you, it's up to you, but we ask you to shut down all your LLCs. True story. I was in a real estate group in Arizona. I did a mastermind for 18 months there. The gentleman who ran the group shut down 14 LLCs, but kept his S Corp. I do not know what happened to his short-term rental, but someone sued his S Corp for $1 million. He thought he was lawsuit proof. I'm like, I'm sorry, Zach. They sued your LLC, not the trust. So please, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Now, most people are unaware that there are 4 ways to file your taxes and 7 different layers to it. The more money you make, the more money you pay. Now, the 4 ways to file your taxes. Single is the most expensive to file. I'm single right now. That's why when I went from 22% to 24%, my taxes went up quite a bit. Then there's head of household. If you have children, if you're a single parent with children under the age of 18. You have married filing separately, and then the cheapest way, married filing jointly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on January 1st, 2025, quietly, the IRS changed married filing separately. You check out these numbers, it's the exact same numbers as filing single, all the way up to 37%. That is a little bit cheaper. If you are married, I highly suggest you file married filing jointly. I talked to a wife back in May. She's a digital marketer in Texas. And if they changed her filing system, her CPA told her to file separately because she gets 1099 income. Her husband gets W-2 income. Just making that one change is going to save them over $4,000 per year. Per year. That's a lot of money. So again, if you have any questions, I suggest you reach out to me. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Let me share again. I want to go to the next page. Come on, go down, next page. Now, I want you to research this. I just had an interesting conversation. Somebody at where one of my advertisements are is very upset because he got a hold of the IRS opinion letter dated August 9th of 2023. They literally say they do not like tax code 643B. They do not like the irrevocable complex discretionary non-grantor spendthrift trust. It's their opinion. I personally do not like lima beans. That's my opinion. My mom loved them. Now, only Congress can change the tax code. I personally do not have a crystal ball. Congress could change this tax code at any time. But once you start the trust, it is a contract between you and the law firm that Paul Rosen started. Now his grandson and great-grandson run the law firm. The name has changed, but we do call it the Benson Financial Trust. And in 77 years, not a single trust has ever been audited. So let's go over these 5 elements. You do need these for this trust. Irrevocable. This means it goes from generation to generation to generation. The Rockefeller Spendthrift Trust is called the Office. It's 7 generations old, and it has over 400 people under the same EIN or employee identification number, your tax ID number that you have with the IRS. Each separate Rockefeller family files a separate 1041 tax return. They get to save taxes. Complex. This trust can hold money from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. 97% of the trusts sold in the United States are what my mom and dad had and what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television. the family trust or the living trust. This trust is usually about $1,000 and it voids probate. Then it dissolves, it goes away. This is not your mom and dad's trust. This is what the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Carnegies, the Kennedys, and our current president's father started in 1972. With this trust, when the trustee or trustees pass away, there's an associate trustee and it gets passed on from generation to generation. Discretionary. Whoever is the trustee or trustees get to make the rules for all the beneficiaries. I'm single. I have 7 nieces and nephews. If I decide I'm leaving 90% to one niece and 2% to all my other nieces and nephews, there's no contesting the will. There's no infighting. There's nothing else. There's nothing they can do. Now, true story. Clients of mine, a husband and wife, who have 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles. Thank God they weren't burned. Their adult daughter lives in one of the apartments, and they have an agreement with her that she has to pass 4 random drug tests per month to live there rent-free. She thought it was unconstitutional, and she took her parents to federal court. The judge read over the trust, and he said to her, you have 2 options. Option 1, pass the 4 random drug tests, live rent-free. Option 2, move out and start paying your own rent. I do not want to be invited to their Thanksgiving dinner. Non-Grantor. This trust is, if you have a family trust, my mom and dad were the grantors of the trust. When they both pass away, that's when the trust dissolves. This trust, you're going to have someone who is never going to be a beneficiary and is never going to be a trustee. He or she is going to sign up to be the grantor or the settler for the trust. And then they sign another piece of paperwork to say they're leaving the trust, that they have nothing to do with this. This makes the trust completely private. Now, this is not a speed bump, but whoever is the grantor or the settler of the non-grantor trust, you will need their social security number. I have just done this for one of my clients last week, where I was their grantor and non-grantor, and it was no big deal. And then finally, the spendthrift. This has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and both times it's won. You can't get more legal than this. So, we've talked about taxes. Now we're going to talk about the business trusts. This is for all U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. When you're making at least $100,000 gross per year, you will save 5 figures in taxes. This is a true client. He called me on January 3rd. He is single, ladies. He's still single in Virginia, as far as I know. He's living in an apartment with 2 roommates, drives a 10-year-old car, and he is a 1099 salesman. In 2024, he made $150,000 in 1099 income. He saw one of my videos and wanted to know how much could he save in 2025 if he makes the same amount. At 90%, he will save $25,962 in federal income taxes. And because he's in Virginia, he's going to save 5.75% on Virginia taxes for an additional $8,625. For an entire year, he will save $34,587. Well, we're in the middle of August right now. Per month, he's saving $2,882. He can put this back into his business. He can buy a new vehicle. He can go on vacation. He can give to his favorite charity. He can save for retirement. But what he's doing with this money is he's saving it up. In 2026, he's going to put it down payment on a house in Virginia. Ladies, he's single. So again, if you're making at least $100,000 grand, I've even helped people making $80,000 gross. Sorry, not grand, gross. Gross, because they knew their tax bracket was going up. This goes from generation to generation, year after year. You will continue to save both federal and state income taxes. 43 states have state income taxes. Excuse me. This is the business trust. Now, my first property in the beneficial trust, I bought it in July of 2020 for $20,000, and I knew it was going to go to auction for $50,000 when COVID restrictions got lifted. that between that $30,000 spread in between at 24% would be $7,110. In September of 2020, when I started this trust, I Googled 2 bill of sales, one bill of sale from my LLC to Sally Gibbon, second bill of sale from Sally Gibbon to my Spendthrift trust. I went to the bank. I got them notarized. My banker, Jose, notarized both of them, and I handed him $10 that I had in my wallet. He made a note that $10 of consideration was made. When I got back home, I sent an email to the attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. The attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina wrote back to me the next day and asked for the first page of the trust. When it finally went to auction on August 28th of 2021, without lifting a hammer, it went to $64,326. I personally made $44,326. Woohoo! This is the way I like to invest. At 24% tax bracket, I got to save $10,368.24. What I did with that money was I put it back into more real estate, and my little empire has grown and grown and grown since then. Now, with the beneficial trust, the 5 taxes you're going to save are capital gains when you sell something at a profit, interest income taxes when you're a passive investor, dividend income taxes if you're in the stock market, rental income taxes if you're a real estate investor, and royalty income taxes if you have talent or if you're in an NFT world. Royalty taxes are taxed a little bit less, between 10% and 35%. This is just showing you if you make $50,000 in profit in whatever you do, how much you will save in taxes. Personally, I'm not trying to crow. I've wholesaled 28 properties. I have 12 notes which are interest income taxes. I have 4 seller financing houses, which is interest income taxes. I have 3 rentals, which is rental income taxes. And my friend does my options trading, which is now capital gains. If you are a US investor and you're making at least $50,000 in profits or even more, you need to be thinking about the beneficial Spendthrift trust. Like over and over again, it will continue to save you money. Now, because I moved to North Carolina and I do something called upset bids, when I go to the courthouse, they do not accept my trust. I sign my name, Sally Gibbon, TTE, and that puts it into the trust easily. Again, I am going to, the long-term capital gains are either 15 or 20% of when it's a year or more. This is an actual client. The adult son saw my video around Christmas. He knew his mom and dad were selling the family restaurant as is, with all the cutlery, the food, the recipes, everything else, for $3 million. With the trust at 15%, they saved $450,000, and at 20%, they would save $600,000. When I contacted the father, Jim, he said, we're selling it March 30th. I'm using a business broker. We need to change the paperwork. He gave me Sam's information. I told Sam, this is how they're changing the trust. Sam's like, I'm going to make 10% on this at $30,000, and I've got other businesses I'm selling. I need the business trust. I told Sam about my affiliate marketing program where I pay $1,000. Sam turns around and tells Michael, who's buying the family restaurant, it's going to be his 7th restaurant in 3 different states, about the business trust. Michael buys the business trust, and Sam made an extra $1,000 on this deal. We've worked together quite a few times since then. Now, I keep telling you, if you have questions, you can always set up a meeting with me at www.thetrustisyou.com/scheduling. I do have a masterclass on the Great Discovery. If you go out to my first name and my last name squished together, www.sallygimmon.com, you're going to get a presentation very similar to this. 3 articles from Forbes magazine. I did not write, somebody else wrote. 2 pages of case law so you can research this to your heart's content, and examples of clients saving thousands of dollars. My goal is to help as many U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners to learn the secret of the rich. I was lucky to, after a $94,000 tax bill, I researched this and now I'm not paying taxes on my investments. And in 2024, I saved 94% of my 1099 income. I'm not trying to crow. I'm just showing you how you could be saving taxes just like the rich do. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a beautiful week. Take care.